the rate, which is really good.
I was
Okay.
eating,
Well,
I was eating a lot of shit, so I'm
Yeah.
not surprised.
So
it's
it's-
come
And it's,
on,
and
but
let's
yeah.
be honest, it's like drinking 10 pints down to 5, and then
Yeah.
you get quick results.
So for a little one? Sorry, we're just getting some post-gym nutrition.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah, that's what you want, isn't it? Post-gym nutrition. That's what you go for, Mackie D's.
No, yeah, I had a fried egg, 3 eggs actually, it was very nice.
Very good. Yeah. I like it. Very good. Just the 3.
Yeah.
Just the 3. Okay. Anyone else since the we're literally just having a chat about if you were here. Oh yeah, mate. All right. Last one, yeah.
So I think I've worked out about 40 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
So I've gone up to about 100 a day. It's made a massive difference. And my weight's come down.
Cool.
Sorry, I just put the cup on there.
So anyone else increase their protein?
Again.
No, I
Yeah.
keep my body fluid.
And has it helped?
Yeah.
Cool.
But
Anything else from the
eating
last-
breakfast mainly.
Eating breakfast. Okay, that's cool.
'Cause I
All
never
right.
really used to eat breakfast at all, so I'm having like overnight oats with a protein and Greek yogurt in it. I think initially it made quite a big difference, and then I feel like for 2 weeks I was like, this is really good, and then sort of felt a bit more normal. Like I felt impact straight away, and then
Okay, so tell me, what do you mean by impact though? So,
I just felt like I had more energy. It's too much information, but definitely an increase of fibre and protein was beneficial for
absolutely.
certain
Yeah,
things.
mate, I'm all about the information. There you are.
And,
that's a big thing to talk about. Yeah.
And then I feel like it's all plateaued, I guess.
Yeah.
But
But plateau, what is in? You feel like you've regressed, or you feel that actually it just feels relatively normal to have that type of breakfast?
Yeah, it just feels quite normal, yeah. And I felt like I wanted the energy and stuff to just keep going up, and then I feel like it was good.
Okay.
Because I had never eaten really breakfast. I think I noticed it quite a lot.
Cool. Okay,
And
so
then
let's
it kind
build
of-
on that point there. So let's go on the whole. Let's say 70% of the room have got something out of the last seminar,
Yeah.
and have implemented. So you've lost 6 kilos, you've eaten breakfast and feel great again. You're eating more protein. Everyone else seems to be more protein. Great. Who feels now that you may have hit a bit of a plateau and you're a bit stumbling around a little bit in the dark? Yeah. Okay. So what are you stumbling around in the dark with?
I guess, like for me, I find it hard to eat the same foods and I'm still working out what I'm enjoying.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
I've just got to terms with a smoothie because the first ones I made were vile.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is there anyone else like that?
adapting stuff.
Yeah, who's getting bored of eating the same? Who's getting bored of eating eggs for breakfast? If you've gone for the eggs for breakfast route, has anyone got that to that point now where you're a bit like, oh, this is a bit dull? Yeah. Okay.
And that's always what happens for me. I get to a point and I'm like, I'm bored, so
Yeah.
fuck it.
So and then you go back to so then you revert back to something.
So like, I think I'm in a rush or what have you, I'll just like eat some bran flakes, and you know that wouldn't normally be on the plan that I want it on.
Yeah. Okay. Do you enjoy brown flakes? Is that of interest? I can't think of the worst. If you had to name a cereal, that would be so far at the bottom of the cereal. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Hey, each their own. I'm not here to judge. If you like brown flakes, I won't come to yours for breakfast in the morning.
Further back.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so and with your smoothies, is that because you were literally just launching everything in there, thinking, oh, I'll get some spinach in there, and I'll get this and that, and then you drink it, and you
And I
get.
put oats, yeah, it was like wet and dry. It was,
Yeah, okay. Wet and dry.
Well, because I put oats in it, so it was chalky.
Okay,
So it's
right.
just finding
So what
the
have you got
balance.
to now? Where have you got to? Have you
Just
found?
reducing it down a little bit rather than just putting equal scoops of this and that and protein and whatnot in it. Just
Yeah.
reducing, like I don't need as much oats in it. I'm full from it being just like half of the amount.
Okay,
that
so
I
what
use.
I'm going to send out after this, I'll send it to Juki. He can then ping it out to all of you guys is a recipe book of lots and lots of different high protein meals and breakfasts that I've got packed from like pancakes through to smoothies through to just almost like a full English but a mix of stuff. They've got a QR code at the bottom, so then all you have to do, as long as you follow the recipe, is scan the QR code and it'll go straight to MyFitnessPal if you do want to track your stuff. Okay. So I'll send that through to Juki afterwards, and then he can ping it out. Cool. So yeah, food on the food, getting bored of food or it just being the same. Obviously, having a cookbook is quite important, but it's having the education and the knowledge of like every meal starts with a form of protein. Okay. Then we need a form of carbohydrate, hopefully from fruits and vegetables. Okay. And then we need some form of fat. Okay. So having that sort of mindset I'm really sorry because all I'm going to do is pick on you about your bran flakes now. But so if you go for your bran flakes, okay. So in our bran flakes, we've got some fibre supposedly, and we've got some carbohydrates, and then you have some milk on top of it. So basically, we have no protein and not an awful lot of everything. Okay. So then if you go back to what I said just a second ago, start with a good source of protein, then a bit of fat and a bit of carbohydrates. Well, they look very, very different. Now, let's say 5 out of the 7 days you do your stuff. Well, it is, you get a bit bored, don't you, of like doing the same thing over and over. But that's only because you're breaking your habit of how many years have you all got up, either not eating breakfast at all, for example, or just put 2 slices of toast in, bit of butter on it, bit of Nutella, out the door on the drive on the way to do whatever you're doing. Okay, it's breaking the habits of having to get up slightly earlier to make some scrambled eggs, or teach yourself to eat that type of food in the morning. Okay, so we'll try and cover off a little bit of this as well. Sweet. So the plan today is to recap the last session. Okay, answer any questions on it because I know that I covered a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you have either got some questions or there's been a few things that have been talked about in the gym that someone might have gone, yeah, I heard him say this, no, I heard him say that, we'll make our own opinion, and then we might have got a bit away from the truth a little bit, okay, and then we'll go through it. So the main thing about today though is what we're looking for is to talk about fueling for training, okay? So if you're specifically sat in here wanting to know about fat loss or muscle gain or something, there might be some elements of it in here, but the main reason we're here is to talk about fueling for when you come into the gym and then fueling through the rest of the day, okay? So, if I was to say to you, well, let's just very quickly recap our 3 macronutrients. So what are our 3 macronutrients?
Carbs, protein, fat.
Carbs, protein, fat, sweet. Okay, so which one assists in hormone regulation, hair, skin, nails? Fat, sweet, okay. Which one grows muscle and allows you to recover? Protein. And which one gives you energy? Cool, excellent. All right, we're all sort of there or thereabouts with that, yeah? Okay, so if I was to ask you then, what is glycogen? Who can give me either a dictionary definition of what glycogen is, or a vague stab in the dark? And if any of you don't know, I really don't care. All right. Fuel. Okay. Give me a bit more.
For your muscles.
What's that?
Fuel for your muscles.
Fuel for your muscles. Well, okay. Where does glycogen come from?
Liver.
Liver. Okay. Which of the macronutrients produce it? Carbs. Okay. Cool. So, what? You eat some carbohydrates. Okay. So rice, pasta, potatoes, vegetables, fruit, that type of stuff. Okay. And your body absorbs it, okay, and it does 2 things. It either turns it straight into glucose, okay, which is instant energy that you use straight away. So, Juki, what are you scanning there?
Protein bar.
Protein bar, okay. So, another flapjack. All right, so Juki's actually eating a flapjack.
That's a flapjack. Sorry, mate.
Good prop, good. Okay. So, Juki's eating a flapjack. What makes up the flapjack? Oats, sugar, syrup. Whatever, okay, it might be a nice homemade one so it's a bit more natural, or it might just be a standard one from the shop, okay? Basically a big ball, no matter what they write on the label, okay? A big ball of nice juicy carbohydrates which give you energy, okay? So I consume that, it gets split into 2 things. Instantly, glucose, okay? So I get a glucose increase, okay? Which gives me instant energy, all right? Now remember our carbohydrate scale. So down this end, we've got our simple carbohydrates, which are made up from sugar, thank you, all right. And we've got our complex carbohydrates up here, which are made from fibre, awesome. So up here, we've got, at the most extreme, we've got your dark green leaves, so kale, broccoli, spinach, that sort of stuff, okay. And down this end, okay, the most simple form that you're going to be able to get is a tablespoon of white sugar, okay. So there's your 2, it's still carbohydrates, they're still 4 calories per gram, whether you get them from up here or whether you get them from down here. But if I eat that tablespoon of sugar instantly, I'm flying very quickly, I'm crashing very quickly. If I eat a whole plate of kale or broccoli or whatever, I will get some energy from it, but not as quickly, but I won't drop off the thing. Yeah, so remember those basics. So when I have my carbohydrate, whichever end it's from, and I consume it, instantly my body converts some of it into glucose, okay? So if you think of your old school Lucasade, you know those fizzy orange ones and it had glucose written all over the side, where you could buy glucose tablets and stuff like that, okay? That's just instant energy that Juki's getting from his flapjack that he's eating now, okay? But your body can't break all of it straight down into glucose, okay? So it breaks the rest of it down into glycogen, which gets stored in your body, okay? So that's stored carbohydrates. And so it's really important to remember that you've got the two. So when you have your plate of carbs, okay, half of it or some of it, depending on how your body processes it, will give you instant energy, and the rest of it gets stored as as glycogen, in your body, which is stored energy. So let's call it something totally different. So we now are full of stored energy, okay? So why is that important? Someone tell me. Why is it important to be? What's that?
Can't function without it.
You can't function without it, 100%. Why else is it important? Let's go to, sorry, what's your name?
Mark.
Mark. Why is it important for you with your job to have some stored energy?
Because I wasn't fall asleep later
Yeah.
in the day.
Who's got a desk job? Yeah, cool.
I
2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, who feels a bit sleepy, starting to fall asleep? It could be because your work's really boring. I won't go into that. Or it might just be that your energy is starting to deplete, okay? So, what happens when our energy starts to deplete and we're starting to feel a bit flaky? What do we reach for?
sugar.
Snacks, sugars, okay? So that tops up your glucose instantly so you feel good again, okay? But what actually is depleted is our glycogen, our stored energy, okay? So we need to think about how do we make our glycogen always available, topped up, not so high that we've got too many calories in our body, which is where we start to gain weight, okay? And not so low that we're just constantly flat and then reaching for a biscuit tin, sugaring up, or reaching for whatever it is to give you that instant glucose, okay? So it's a really important thing. So it's about splitting your meals out across the day, okay? Splitting your carbohydrates out over the day and making sure that we're topped up, all right? So, who comes to us? Yes?
I definitely did, when I was eating like a good breakfast and a good range of things, I did like crave less. Like in the office there's always crap about, so I was like, I did genuinely think, I genuinely just don't fancy that.
Okay, so what's been your go-to breakfast?
It's overnight oats, I would say.
Okay, so
But-
talk me, what's in overnight oats?
So I would have like 40 or 50 grams of organic like porridge oats.
Yeah.
I'd have like a scoop of like chia seeds, like a ground flax mix of things,
Yeah.
nuts and stuff. Some yogurt, like 40 or 50 grams of yogurt, 150 grams of like soya milk, and then a scoop of chocolate protein powder, and I'd frozen berries on the top.
Cool. So off the top of my head, this is not factual, because you might correct me, but it's going to be 500, 600 calories, that. Okay?
Mm.
Great. All right, so how much do you weigh?
95.
95. So you'll probably want to be eating about 2,200 calories a day, roughly, 2,100, 2,200. So if you were to split that into 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then 2 snacks, if you were to go 500 or 600 in the morning, 600 for lunch, 600 for dinner, okay, there's about, give or take with the variance, you're going to get about 1,800 calories there, and then you've got 400 to get from a couple of snacks. Great. So that's perfect, and then you've got a good form of carbohydrates, lots of fibre, lots of protein. Okay, great. Has everyone else been having a breakfast like that?
Yeah.
Who's been going more for eggs and salmon, eggs and avocado? Yeah, okay. Yeah, and have you been having any carbohydrates in there?
Oh no, I've been having carbs with it. I just tend to go for eggs or salmon or something as my protein
Okay.
source for the
Yeah, yeah.
normally next to porridge or something.
Cool. So what I'm getting to here is that, so all at the moment, the first part of the seminar, I'm going to talk a lot about carbohydrates, okay? And we will come on to protein later on. So it's not like I've been seminar 1, that's all I can talk about, and you were bored of it, and I've forgotten about it. The start we're talking about is carbohydrates, okay? So your breakfasts, getting in those carbohydrates, okay, tops up your glycogen stores for the day. It also gives you some glucose, so instant energy, ready to go, okay? Who trains at 6 a.m? Oh, not that many. All right, okay, so then the rest of you come in the evening?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we've now got, and this is where I'm going to try and make it quite specific for you guys, like who trains then got two splits, okay? So the people that are coming in the morning, so this is, if everyone listens to this, because you might end up being a morning person, you don't know, but, and then the evening people. So the morning people, so this class starts at 6?
6 a.m.
Okay, so in order to fuel up for you to get glucose, so instant energy, and then the rest of it to be stored as glycogen, you need to be eating that 90 minutes pre-workout, okay? For you to get the glycogen in, so for you to have the stored carbohydrates, okay? You can eat the glucose and get instant energy, but you won't get the stored carbohydrates. So who's getting up at 4:30 to have, you are, so you eat.
I wake up hungry, so banana, and so just do some onion and a mate.
Yes, okay, no, that's fine. So that's like a quick. So who's getting up at 4:30? Let me word it differently, and having eggs, salmon on a bagel, or one of your nice smoothies, dry wet smoothies that you have. Right? Yeah. Who's doing that?
To be fair, I've been getting up at 4:30 and having my breakfast at
Right.
4:30.
Gold standard chicken.
But I'm not training at 6. I am coaching, but I train straight after at 7.
Okay, and so this actually, and this isn't queued up, this isn't like an act here, so this is actually quite good. Why is Juki a bit different from you guys? I mean, we won't go down. Why is his job slightly different from you guys?
He doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything. I've been in this, I've had this out before. Okay, so he basically is going to be coaching, and then he's going to be on his feet for a long amount of the day, and then at some point he will find a gap to do his own training. Okay, so Juki's got one of two options: either get up at 5:30, come here and coach, and just fuel up on quick carbohydrates constantly, and then pre his session top up again on quick carbohydrates. Okay, and if you remember the last seminar, what we talked about, the issue there is, one, you're giving your body quick energy and then you drop, quick energy, drop, quick energy, drop. Okay, so one, you're getting highs and lows constantly, which is not good for your body, and secondly, your calorie consumption, how many calories you consume through the day, is going to be exponentially more because you keep getting hungry. You keep filling yourself up and then getting hungry, and by the end of the day, you've almost doubled the amount of calories, okay?
It's quite good that you post what your food is for the day, but I've never eaten or heard of cream of rice. Is that a quick carbohydrate, or is that a...
Do you mean,
I don't know what it is.
It's just an alternative from having, we talked about the carb cycling.
yeah.
So on my single training days or like the Friday is like a bit of a social gym, so my heart rate is just really low in that session. So I'll have that instead of the.
What is cream rice?
It's
rice pudding.
No, it's like a powdered rice.
Okay, fine.
But it's like porridge. It's a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So
but it's like powdered.
At the end of the day,
it's
still got 4 grams per calorie.
Yeah.
Juki's got two options. He either goes bang, 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 constant carbs, or he gets up at 4:30 and has a big meal, which then tops up his glycogen store, so his stored energy. Okay, so then through the day he's got that amount of energy, and then pre-training he'll have his quick carbohydrate pre. Okay, so for you guys that aren't, that's everyone else other than Juki that's not getting up at 4:30 to have their food. If you're training in the morning, you are either coming in fasted, or you are just going to grab a banana or a bagel or something. Yeah, is that everyone else?
Yeah.
Sweet. Who's? No?
I get up at 5, have 2 coffees, and I'm here.
Yeah, so fasted. Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, so sorry. So let me. Yeah, and that's really, really important. But so let me just quickly explain that. So fasted is. Yeah, fine. You might have a black coffee with a bit of milk, and people get really pedantic and go, "Well, that's not fasted because you've got a bit of milk in it." That's just like anything under 100 calories is fasted. Okay, so you have a couple of coffees, so you're fueling on caffeine. Okay, so fasted is literally we're not eating or drinking anything other than water or black coffee or a little bit of milk. Okay, and coming in and training. And the other side of it is I'm fueling up with a little bit of carbohydrates, which is your glucose, so instant energy and training. So this is really important to remember now. So you've got, I'm going to use you as my fasted, okay? So you are going into yesterday's reserves of energy to train in the morning, okay? So you're dropping into that glycogen and going, what have I got, what's my body got left from yesterday in order to be able to fuel myself for the session in the morning, okay? And who has like a banana or a bagel or something? Yeah, you guys, yeah? You're over here, so you're coming in as non-fasted, topped up with some instant glucose, so a banana, bagel, something that's probably 50, 60 grams of carbohydrates, and that will then, bless you, that will then get you through the hour session, okay, with a little bit of assistance of whatever you had in your body from yesterday, okay?
I started doing that after the last chat that we had, and it's made a massive difference.
Having a little,
yeah.
yeah,
So I now
different.
have half a bagel with some jam, and it's made a massive difference to
Yeah.
the energy levels of my training.
Cool. And what I'm
Since it
not
started.
prepared to go down is an argument about fasted or non-fasted training, because one, there's so much conflicting research. Secondly, I do believe if it's in the morning, it's very subjective. It's up to you, okay, what you want to do. But what I would always say is that if you can have some form of carbohydrate pre-training, it's always going to assist you more. And I'll come on to the unless later. All right, so you've got your two schools of thoughts, all right? And do you feel energised? It's quite hard to know who's energised at 6 a.m. It's hard. Okay, I'll tell you what, not at 6, okay, but let's say the session starts kicking in at 6:30, that's when you're in full flow. At 6:30, 7:15, are you still feeling quite good, or are you starting to go?
I'm alright,
You're
yeah.
all right?
I'm
Okay,
okay,
cool.
yeah.
No issues at all. So there's our two things, and that literally proves or shows us our glucose, which is instant energy, so the bagel and the banana pre-workout, okay, and then you're going into your glycogen stores, your stored food, okay. So for anyone that comes into the gym in the morning fasted or hardly had any food, even the guys and girls that have a little bit of carbohydrate pre, it's all about the energy that you've got stored up from the day before, okay. So what's in your muscles. So if you are coming in for a 6 a.m. session, the meal you have the night before needs to have a good amount of carbohydrates on the plate, because that is where you're going to dig into in the following morning to get your energy from, okay? So that isn't saying you have to have a huge plate of spaghetti, okay, and a little bit of protein on top, all right? It could be, always start with your protein, and then it could be a fist-sized portion of rice or noodles or spaghetti or pasta, whatever you want, or potatoes, your carb, and then the rest of the plate made up from a variety of different vegetables, because remember, carbohydrates are vegetables are carbohydrates, okay? So it's just making sure that you're not going, oh, I'm scared of carbs, I'm not having any of those, so I'll have a chicken breast and a little slice of carrot or something, and that'll do me, because the next day you just don't have the energy to be able to train. Yeah, can you come in and train off of that? Yeah, absolutely. Will you train properly and get the most out of it? Absolutely not, okay? So that's what I wanted to sort of teach us around glycogen, glucose, okay? Even if you just go away thinking there's one of them, they both go in the G, can't remember what they are, but one is stored energy and one's instant energy. That's all you need to remember. Instant energy, banana, bagel, flapjack, something like that. Stored energy, the stuff that you've eaten pre. Okay, so that's our 6 a.m. morning person. What about people that might train midday or train in the evening? Okay, can they go all the way, well, would you go all the way through the day fasted and then come to the session in the evening? No, not unless there's actually a medical reason why you're doing it, okay? So you are then in the glycogen remit, so you've got all day to fuel efficiently, okay? And then coming in for your workout, you can drop some instant quick carbs and then train, okay? So in theory, your evening trainers might be said they might get more out of their training sessions than the morning trainers, because they've had all day to fuel. But the morning trainers have just come out with a nice night of sleep and haven't been on their feet all day, had the stress of jobs, kids, blah, 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 which then absolutely drains your central nervous system. So when it comes to coming in at 6 o'clock in the evening, you're like, nah, I've got absolutely no interest. And even if you're fueled up to the max, you might not get the most out of it anyway. Okay? So there's no pros and cons, there's no right and wrong on which session you choose. It's all about how you feel for it. So if I was then coming to a 6 p.m, 1800 session, breakfast, mega important. And what might I prioritise if I'm not training for another 12 hours? I know, say I have my breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, but I know I'm not coming to here until 6 o'clock at night. What might I prioritise on my breakfast in the morning?
Protein.
Yeah, absolutely. Protein and
Fats.
fats, absolutely. Can we remember what, other than fats being really good for your hormones, what else do fats do? It's a source of energy.
Energy, yeah.
Yeah, you were just about to say it, weren't you? I saw the tip of your tongue. Yeah, so fats are a source of energy, really good source of energy. Your body prefers carbohydrates because it's easier for them to break down and get the energy from, but fat can also produce really good energy.
Is that
okay?
what like the keto things about like
Yeah,
energy, fat being energy,
Yeah.
liver and all that stuff?
yeah, but we won't go down that now because it's a rabbit warren, and it's very subjective to the person. But ultimately, you can get energy from fats. So in the morning, if I wasn't training into the evening, I would definitely have a large portion of protein with some fats with it. So that might be avocado, that might be oils, that might be nuts, okay? And a little bit of carbohydrates. So whether that's some vegetables with it, whether it's some fruit, something like that, okay? So that would be my breakfast. And then my lunch, then I'd be thinking, right, this is where I need to have my more carbohydrate meal, okay? So you might be having a salad with some rice and some protein, or whatever it is you're gonna have for your lunch, okay? And then mid-afternoon, we'd be topping up again a tiny bit, okay? So that might be like a pre-made pot of yogurt with just some nuts and some seeds on top or something like that, okay? And then pre-walking in the gym 30 minutes before, it's the same as the morning crew, it's a bagel, with a bit of jam and honey on it, or it's a bit of flapjack, or it's a banana, or an apple, pear, whatever your pre-go-to is. Okay, not a monster drink or anything like that. Okay, that's not energy. Okay, and then bang into the gym you come, and then post the gym, it's exactly the same as the morning crew, which we'll come back to in a minute. It's protein and a bit of carbs.
Can I ask another silly question?
Yeah, no, there's no silly questions.
What is the advantage of a bagel versus bread? Like, I know
Nothing.
bagels
One's
get
got a
like,
hole in it.
Oh,
There's really no. I only put a bagel because sometimes bagels find it a little bit sweeter because the way they're made, and you can put a bit of honey on it. But there's literally no. It's whatever you like and whatever's on the go. Just.
I don't know. It gets used as a good example of what's quick and easy and.
Yeah, it's always.
I just
I think
wondered
it's
whether
just
there's actually any
like
difference other than
it's
the
the current
whole.
trend. So yeah, a piece of bread will do exactly the same. There's not really, someone might argue, oh well, a bagel's made slightly different and it's got a coating of something on it or whatever. But yeah, ultimately it's going to be exactly the same. So you go for it. Yes.
You keep referring to nuts as an essential fat. Is there a particular type of nut that you would recommend?
So I would always, as long as, and pre-disclaimer here, as long as you haven't got a nut allergy, all right, I would go for a variety of them. That some of the better ones though are your Brazil nut, hazelnut, almond, unsalted cashew, okay, things like that. Peanuts, like your bar peanuts or whatever, they're fine, but generally heavily salted or heavily roasted, and they don't have as many essential fats in them as you're going to get from your other ones. But I would try and get a variety of nuts. Just again, and this isn't a weight loss seminar in the slightest, but we always want to be mindful. You don't want to be overdoing your calories by huge amounts. You want to be getting them about right, which we'll talk about in a minute. Nuts are a fat. So for every gram that you eat, you're going to get 9 calories. Okay, so it's very easy to get a small handful of nuts on a Monday when you're feeling super motivated. No, I'm watching my diet. And come a Friday, it's a massive handful of nuts, and all of a sudden, your 150 calories of nuts here has just gone up to 600 with considerable ease.
I was like that with porridge though. If I was having overnight oats or porridge, I would just like.
Yeah, and that's why
like 40 grams
so
of porridge.
overnight oats are like a breakfast oats or whatever you want to call them. They're really good because you can make them the night before, whatever, and it's easy. Just grab it on the way out. Ready, accessible.
If you're not careful, that could
if you're not careful
and
counting them up, they can then become a really nice big pot of 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
And someone's like, yeah, but it's overnight oats. You told me to eat. Oh, they're really good for you. I saw it in the Daily Mail. It says they're awesome, but you haven't. I do believe firmly in weighing and measuring because it's the only way of actually being accountable. But you can also do it by once you've worked out your ways of measurement. So like I know half a cup of one of these cups that I've got at home of oats is the right amount of oats for me, and I've just drawn a line across it. So I then just get it, scoop it out of the thing, level it off. That's bang, that goes in there, and then I know the same with nuts and seeds goes in there. protein powders 2 scoops, and then whatever the amount of
Yeah,
milk is.
I measured
So I've
40
kind of like,
grams
once
and it
you've
was nothing.
once you've measured it a couple of times, then you can find your own ways of working out, or if it all fits into a Tupperware in a certain way, but again, you can pack out a Tupperware with all the nice stuff, squeeze it right out. Okay, so going back to, so that's your evening crew, okay? Going back to your morning crew, you've trained, so you've had your you've either come fasted or non-fasted, okay? You've trained, you leave here at 7 o'clock. You've then got arguably the harder one, because you've then got the rest of the day, so you might be a person that leaves the gym, I leave the gym not feeling very hungry for sort of an hour and a half, feel a bit, just don't really have an appetite, and then it suddenly clicks, and then I am starving for the rest of the day, okay? So yeah, especially if it's probably more likely to be a conditioning day, where you leave sweaty, blowing, like, and you've got an amazing, so a lot of this is down to hormones as well, so you've got an amazing endorphin fix, so you leave here on cloud 9, like, yeah, I feel, you know, you might not feel great, but you know, once you settle down, you go, oh, I'm done, you know, you've got your sense of accomplishment, you've actually finished the session, you've got here for 6 AM, which I think is a massive tick in the box in the right, you know, in the middle of winter, it's huge, just getting here to do the session, and then you know what it's done for your body, and then, so you've got all of those, and then you start to feel hungry. So this might happen by, say, 9 o'clock. Then you've got from 9 o'clock in the morning until whatever time you go to bed that evening, with only X amount of calories or whatever left for the rest of the day, feeling starving all day. Okay. So in that time, we've got to top our glycogen stores back up, so our stored carbohydrates. We've got to top those back up. Okay, and we'll go on to why in a minute. We've also got to eat enough of our protein to make sure that whatever we've done in the session, we're actually repaying and getting some gains out of it. And we've got to get some fats in for our hormone balance, for our stored energy, for our hair, our nails, our liver, our kidney, blah, blah, blah. And we've got to get our day job done and actually enjoy our life and remember everything else that's going on, pay the bills, blah, blah. So there's quite a lot to think about. So either way, whether you're an evening trainer or a morning trainer, there's pros and cons of both of them around the food. So it comes down to being quite organised. So once you leave the gym in the morning, and the evening as well, depending, evening's a bit easier because when you leave the gym in the evening, presumably you'll then be going home and having your dinner, most of you, yeah? So within, say, 90 minutes, so you're going to get your protein, your carbs, your fats within instantly. If you're leaving here in the morning, you might be rushing back to have a shower, then doing the school run or running to get to work or whatever it is, and running out of time. So that might be where a protein shake on the go, or one of your smoothies that's maybe pre-made and in the fridge, and then you just shake it up again, and it's got everything that you need in it. That might be your go-to option there, and that will see you through to lunch, where you've then got your nicely prepped lunchbox that you take to work with everything in it, and then your afternoon snack, and then you come back in the evening and you have your dinner. Okay. Annoyingly, that excuse me, that's why companies like Huel and all of these other branded ones that charge you a fortune for what they are. That's why they're good in a way, because they're convenient and they're on the go and etc. But for I don't know how much a Huel costs, but let's call it £4, probably something like that. You could make yourself a smoothie at home for 50p. Like you know, once you've bought a bag of protein, they generally work out about 50p a shake. So there's 50p, then some flax seeds, chia seeds, whatever vegetables, fruit, whatever goes in it, it's probably £1, something like that. And as long as you're organised to make it, and it's always going to be far better because you know what's going in it, there's nothing processed, etc. So the morning session, finish, get yourself food straight away, but if it's not convenient to go back and have your eggs and your salmon and everything like that, that's where a smoothie on the go might be useful to tie you over until the point you can catch your breath and go, right, now it's time to go. The people that said they feel, and this is any time of the day training now, that feel a bit sick and nauseous after training or just not hungry in the slightest, do you supplement with a shake straight away, or do you wait until you feel? There's no right or wrong answer here, so feel free to speak up.
Go home, stretch, have overnight oats,
Okay.
and then go to work.
Yeah.
So
Anyone else?
I couldn't eat immediately.
You couldn't, yeah. Okay. But what's that? 90 minutes within?
Within an hour.
Within an hour. Anyone longer than an hour then? Yeah.
I usually eat a couple of hours.
A couple of hours? Yeah. Okay. So there's no right or wrong answer here. What's your name, sir?
Lydia.
Lydia. Are you undoing? So you've come in. You've done strength. Yeah. Do you do some strength sessions? You've done your good squats, etc. Pulled the muscle fibers apart, etc. You're not eating for 2 hours. You're not getting protein within you for 2 hours. are you getting the same adaptations as you are by having protein in an hour?
No.
No?
No, I'm not.
Let's do a show of hands. Who do you think you're going to get the same adaptations? It'd be absolutely the same if you don't eat protein within the first 2 hours. Who thinks it makes a blind bit of difference?
What, whether you eat
Whether you eat it instantly
or
or whether you know, so if you're the person that's literally walking out the door, chugging in, you're having a week, you just finish a session, and you're also having a protein shake, you've got to get the protein down you straight away. Or,
No.
doesn't make that
You still
So
eat
you've
it.
got around about, current research is saying you've got around about 2.5 to 3 hours to get your protein on board. Now, what it's more to do with is total protein through the day. Okay? So we're not talking carbs now, we're going protein, we'll come back to carbs again, but with protein, it's your total consumption through the day. Now, let's take me and Juki, the slightly heavier athletes, should we say? All right, so we're looking at...
Like I said, Sean's slightly heavier.
I don't know, you might the same way, but I don't know. So we're looking at about 200 grams protein a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what our aim is, about 200 grams.
Yeah.
If we were to smash 200 grams of protein, so I'm saying it's just about complete daily consumption. If we were to smash 200 grams of protein in a oneer, so that'd be a massive steak, a double scoop protein, natural yogurt afterwards with another scoop protein just to get to your 200, is that going to be as useful for my body as splitting it out over maybe 3 meals? No, not at all. Because what your body will do, same as anything, you know, have too many shots of tequila, what does your body make you do? Get rid of it, all right? So it's the same as anything, your body will take what it needs and excrete the rest in some form, okay? So actually it's about total consumption of protein throughout the day. Yes, the closer you get it to exercise, in theory, it's getting it being absorbed straight into your blood system, and your body's getting to work and reacting and absorbing that protein down and turning, you know, making it work for you. But most of the research says that you've got up to about 3 hours before it starts to become a bit detrimental. Okay, so don't be panicking that you need to be running out having a protein shake whilst doing everything. But at the same time, if you can have it quicker, like within a couple of hours, that's all good. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, if you are the type of person that can't think of anything worse after training and going back and having a meal straight away, then a shake might be your go-to. But remember, with supplements, are only there to supplement a good diet. Okay, so ultimately we do want to go on and make sure that we have our meal that's got our protein, our fats, and our carbs in. Okay, cool. Just pause for 10 seconds there. Has anyone got any questions on anything that we've spoken about so far?
Sorry.
No, don't please. The idea of this is it's more interactive.
So, in terms of the pre-workout quick carb,
Yeah.
what timing would you do before you actually do the exercise? Is it 15 minutes before?
So there's no exact science to it. The closer that you can do it to the exercise, the more benefit. Because with quick acting carbohydrates, it is literally, I mean, the more simple you get, the quicker they'll be in your blood system, but they're in quickly and they're acting quickly. So if you were to have, I don't know, a piece of toast or a bagel or jam, honey, whatever, okay, it's going to be in your system and acting quite quickly and wearing off. So you don't want to be at that point necessarily where it's wearing off halfway through the session. Some of you may have actually felt that you've carved up pre a session and got halfway through the session and been leaning, find yourself leaning against a I think he's talking rubbish up. This isn't doing it for me. Now that hopefully is a good bit of programming from Juki that he's working you hard. But secondly, you may have just had your carbs a bit earlier, and we will come on to into carbs in a minute. But that's where, if you were doing a longer event, you will see people that might supplement on a gel, or you know, look at a tennis player or a racket player, a couple of bites of banana swished down with a Lucozade or Powerade or whatever the sponsored drink at the time is. Then that's where your pre-carbs might top you back up. Okay, but because your sessions are only 60 minutes, then I would say you don't necessarily want to be relying on into carbs during the session. A little like an energy drink, you know, like a Lucozade or a Powerade or whatever the current ones are, they're fine just to give you some carbs if you need to top up, especially on a conditioning day. That that might be a good thing. But on your weights days especially, then I would say try and just get the carbs closer to when you're about to start to work out.
Yeah, just for Liz as well. She does jiu-jitsu. She's got a comp coming up. So like some of those sessions, I know Liz does at Virtus. They'll do their like fundamentals class and go into open mat.
Yeah, and they end up like 3 hours in that.
So
Right,
it could be like 2 hours long.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little section on the competition that Juki's got coming up and how you would fuel for that, which is a 3-hour competition. So we'll talk about that in there. But yeah, so for an hour session, get the carbs as close as you can manage. Like if you can walk in the door and you're chomping your banana down or your bagel or whatever, and then by the time you've done your stretch and stuff, you think that it's digested enough and you feel comfy to go, happy days. Like ask Juki when they used to play, you would be in the changing rooms going out 5 minutes before, chopping down.
And half time as well.
And at half time, and there's actually, I'll get Juki to send it out to you, there's a really good video that was done by England Rugby last week with Ben Earl, one of the players, who says on a match day, he really struggles to eat huge amounts of food. So he smashes up the food the day before in ridiculous quantities. Like you'll be aghast at how much he manages to put down, because he's topping up his glycogen scores to the absolute max, because he knows on the game day he can't eat that much, and then he is just constantly grazing on quick acting carbs and walking out 2 minutes before the game scoffing jelly babies like they're going out of fun. So if you can process that type of, is that good? I'm not saying that's necessarily good for you, but they're also pro athletes. They're just doing what's best for their competition. Okay? So yeah, the closer the better. Really good question.
How you doing, Fraser? So I found sort of off the last one.
Yeah.
I found that obviously eating more protein. I found that I'm doing like the beef stews, like you said.
Yeah.
But then I found that I'm trying to get my protein in. I'm doing the overnight oats, separate shake, and then lunch. Not all the time, but like a beef stew, and then getting like chicken breast or chicken thighs, probably about 2 to 3 p.m. And then in the evening after gym, it's like weighing my food out, doing the trying to get my protein and carbs in. But I like the pasta the other day, so I weighed it out at 150 grams dry.
Yeah.
Turned out
Versus cooked.
Turned out.
Yeah. Okay. Is that yeah? So has everyone made that mistake? I mean, I literally did it last night actually myself.
So how do I? That being sound like a dip. How do I? Do you weigh it cooked or do you weigh it dried or?
I would weigh it. Well, it depends how you're measuring it. Because if you're going to measure it in MyFitnessPal, for example, you can choose cooked or uncooked, and then what you're looking for is the total amount of carbohydrates it is going to give you at the end, which is the number I'm going to give you later on in the session. Okay? So say you want 60 grams of carbohydrates, then I now would know, because I've done it for long enough, that 60 grams of carbohydrates from pasta, for example, I would go uncooked, but I know by the time it's cooked, we all know what happens here. So yeah, pick which one you're going to do it from. One number's going to be very different. No. Has everyone made that mistake before? Yeah? Get some rice or some pasta or whatever. Think, oh yeah, that's about right, and then you cook it and you look at it and go, there's not a chance of my eating that. And you persevered, which I like. I hope you worked hard. More like for a family of 4. Yeah, because obviously it's well done. So yeah, okay. So yeah, that's a really good question actually around measuring food. It's the same with meats and more proteins and stuff. You have your cooked and uncooked weight. However you're recording it, always just go with the same weight. So either cooked or uncooked, and then your tracking device will tell you which one. But yeah, really good question. Okay, so we'll move on. Anyone need the toilet yet? No? Awesome. Okay, so we'll move on to how your week looks in here for the gym. So unless I'm completely wrong, your week looks like Monday strength. Yeah. Tuesday conditioning. Yeah. Back to strength. Conditioning. Strength, and then team conditioning on a Saturday. Yeah. Cool. All right. So how many? Who's training 3 times a week? Yeah. Great. And we're hopefully getting a mix of strength and and some conditioning in there. Yeah, and anyone up to 6 sessions a week? Cool. Okay, so you're 6 plus sessions a week. You're very much going to be, we're going to go through a little way of understanding how you can put your days in and out, okay, in terms of food and stuff. But your 6 plus sessions, you're what I deem as like a high-end athlete in terms of your output, okay? 3 sessions a week is optimal for basically longevity of your health and doing enough that it's perfect for your body, okay? So if you're training for jiu-jitsu and you've got your strength training and your cardio, blah, blah, that's because you've got a purpose. What are you training for? That's 6 times a week? Just life or high rocks or
yeah, running. I'm doing a lot more running recently.
Right. Okay, so you've got a thing. So this isn't like, oh, they train 6 times a week, that's better than 3 times. I aim to do 3 strength sessions a week, get my 12,000 steps done every single day as a non-negotiable, and then I will try and get a couple of conditioning sessions done. But my non-negotiables are my 3 strength sessions, which at the end I just chuck a 10-minute finisher, get my heart rate up, because that fits with my lifestyle, and then if I can get anything else in, it's a bonus. So this isn't like, oh, they do more than me. So what I'm trying to allude to is the people that are training more, you're going to need more carbohydrates. The people that are training less, you will need less carbohydrates. You still need them, they're absolutely essential, but you won't need as many as someone that's training 6 or 7 times a week. But what you will need is to make sure that the days that you are training, they're the days that you're hammering your carbohydrates, that each one getting the right amount, okay? So, who is trying to gain a little bit of muscle? Hopefully all of us, all right? That was, I should have just said, we're all trying to gain a bit of muscle, all right, rather than leave it to the forum. Because whether you're here and you're the person that wants to lose loads of body fat, okay, or whether you're the ectomorph, the really skinny person down here that wants to put some muscle on, or whether you're the 70-year-old male or female here who just wants to make sure that they don't get really bad osteoporosis in the next couple of years, be able to stand upright and carry on as if they're a 30-year-old, everyone needs muscle. Okay, it's a complete non-negotiable, and I'm sure Juki lectures you on this all the time, all right? The only way that we can keep muscle on is by doing strength training, okay, or some form of resistance training, and eating our protein, okay, assisted with carbohydrates. So, anyone that's massively trying to put on muscle mass, okay, as in pack it on, you need to be in a calorie surplus, i.e. eating more calories than your body needs, okay? Because that makes your body go anabolic, okay? So don't think about it as in anabolic steroids, okay? Think about it as anabolic, okay? In terms of you're gaining muscle, your body is in a growth spurt, okay? Like a growth period. If you're in a catabolic state, i.e. you're breaking things down, fat and muscle, this is the person that's down this end, then you're going to need to be in a calorie deficit, i.e. eating less calories than your body needs every day, okay? So, where it comes really, really hard is we want everyone to gain muscle and keep some muscle mass on. So remember, as you get older, which unfortunately, look at it whichever way you like, we're all getting older, okay? Whether you're male or female, males lose testosterone like this, females have never had huge amounts of testosterone, but theirs stays fairly flat, but then there's other hormones that come into play with it. Both are fighting a hard battle to keep muscle mass on, okay? So increasing our strength training will help that. But then we've got, well, I want to lose some body fat, so I need to eat less food to be in a deficit, but that makes me catabolic, which breaks down everything. Yeah? Do we break down fat or muscle easier? Do we know? Muscle? You think you break muscle down quicker? Okay. At the end of the day, I'd rather someone like just chuck out, which doesn't matter. I mean, who knows? I mean, in a few years' time, they might change your theory anyway. But when we're at this catabolic state, where everyone gets really, really worried is, oh well, if I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm eating less than I need, but only a couple of hundred or whatever to lose that bit of body fat, I'm going to lose all my gains, all my muscle. Okay? What can we eat? 2 things can we eat to make sure that doesn't happen? Protein and carbs or fats, whichever one. But yeah, So carbs, all right, because we need that energy still in. But what we don't need to do is eat it in such excess that we're then storing it and not burning it. Okay, so that's the key. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands that unless you're up here and you're doing bodybuilding competitions, so you're going to do a 6-9 month bulk out where you literally smash in so many calories, ridiculous amounts of protein, strength training every single day, doing very little cardio, hardly moving because you're just trying to get into that anabolic stage, get as big as possible, and then they'll do a massive cut all the way down to be into a catabolic stage so that they shrink down to be for their stage, which I don't think any of us are doing in here at the moment, not unless you want to, that's absolutely fine, but that's a different theory. Most of us are just trying to gain a little bit of muscle and potentially got some competition stuff. So we can make sure that we eat protein, eat your carbs the right amount, and do your right amount of training. And if you go a bit catabolic, it's no issues at all. Okay, I just want to get that out because I know what happens is, because we're talking a lot about carbohydrates, even though you're all going to nod now and go, no, that's not me. Probably 4 or 5 of you will leave here panicking, going, oh my God, I can't eat that amount of carbohydrates. I can't eat carbohydrates. They're terrible for you, even though we're literally here to say that they're to fuel your gym session. Okay, cool. So what I think I'd like us to do is think about